Tyler Perry was once their guardian angel, the man who opened his Los Angeles mansion to Prince Harry and Meghan. Markle, when they fled the UK, no paparazzi, no press, just peace. Or at least, that's how the story went. Now, the same man who gave them sanctuary might be the one to tear it all down. Not out of revenge, but for legal freedom. Because when Perry got slammed with a $260 million lawsuit over workplace misconduct, Meghan didn't show support. She stayed silent. And that silence may have triggered a powerful clause buried deep in a private deal. Tyler Perry was one of the few Alistairs who loudly stood by Harry and Meghan after the Oprah interview. He gave them a home, a jet, an escape plan. And now, with serious allegations hanging in the air, Harry and Meghan have disappeared into silence. Harry once told Anderson Cooper, "Silence is betrayal." The Sussexes always said they left royalty to live with truth, freedom, healing. But that image is now cracking. Because if Perry really has what insiders claim, mails, voice notes, calls, then the narrative we've been fed might be a carefully curated PR machine. Let's rewind. When Harry and Meghan came to the US, it wasn't Netflix or Spotify. That saved them. It was Perry. He gave them more than a mansion. He gave them security. And in return, they gave him something symbolic, the title of Godfather to Lilibet. But it gets murky. There was no formal christening, no palace confirmation, just a single line in a Netflix doc. Skeptics had doubts. Now, those doubts are deafening. Was it real or just PR? When Perry's scandal broke, Meghan erased everything. Posts gone. Mentions vanished. Photos deleted. One day he was family, next day, silence. And that silence, it may have triggered a contract loophole. Legal sources claim Perry and the Sussexes had an NDA. With a twist, if Perry was publicly cut off, he could speak freely. Meghan's erasure may have done exactly that. And if he talks, it won't be vague. Word is, he's got receipts. Not tabloids, real recordings. Netflix pitch sessions, strategy calls. Emotional messages that show this wasn't raw. It was rehearsed. Packaged, sold. If you followed Harry and Meghan, you've seen the pattern. Emotional interviews, strategic timing, tearful reveals just when headlines go sour. And this time, as Perry's world crumbled, Meghan posted lifestyle photos, wine glasses, soft filters. The distraction formula. But this time, it's not working. Hashtags like #TylerKnowsAll are exploding. Former fans are questioning everything. One viral tweet said it best: "We defended Meghan when it mattered. If this was all fake, we were used." That's the twist. If the Godfather title was fake or worse, branding, then even their child's image was strategy. Loyalty can mean survival. Had they stood by Perry, others might have too. But their silence looks like self-preservation. And this goes deeper. If the recordings show Netflix was stage-managed, interviews scripted, this isn't just PR trouble. It's a collapse of authenticity. Their deals, their power, their sympathy, it all hangs by a thread. And Perry, he might be the one holding the scissors. Behind closed doors in Montecito, it wasn't healing, it was empire building. While the world saw tea and truth, insiders saw strategy. Tyler wasn't just the guy with the house. He heard the calls, saw the breakdowns, shaped the moves. Was in the room when it mattered. Sources say he heard media plans, helped word the exits, and gave notes on emotional angles. Emails, late-night voice notes, frantic branding calls. If those go public, it proves what critics whispered all along. This wasn't just two royals escaping the crown. It was a rebrand from royalty to celebrity. And in the center of it all, the Godfather title. What once felt sweet now feels strategic. No photos, no records, no proof, just one line in a show. And now with Perry silent but surrounded by offers, the truth might finally get its moment. 3 major media outlets are said to be negotiating for first rights, and they're not after puff pieces. They want evidence, solid proof. Real documents, the kind that transforms gossip into history. Legal experts warn, if Tyler Perry speaks out, especially with anything contradicting the Sussex's Netflix content, it won't just bring backlash. It could spark legal chaos. Breach of contract, defamation, even fraud, nothing's off the table. All eyes turned when Prince Harry made a sudden return to the UK. No cameras, no statements, just him, alone. Some say he met royal advisors. Others think legal counsel. But the timing, too perfect to be coincidence. You don't vanish from California while your brand is on fire, unless you're trying to extinguish it in private. Meghan, meanwhile, stayed behind, reportedly micromanaging her image. Posting curated content. Soft smiles, happy mom vibes. But the internet's not playing along. Every blog post meets skepticism. Every filtered photo feels more performative. Even loyal fans are pausing. Because if this entire saga was a strategic illusion, if the tears, the trauma, the estrangement were all chapters in a media playbook, the fallout won't just sting, it'll scar. The most dangerous part. Perry knows where the bodies are. Buried figuratively. But that's all it takes. When someone has seen the unfiltered you, when they've heard the plans, the panic, the strategy, they don't need to invent anything. All they have to do is tell the truth. And it looks like now, he finally can. He's no longer their silent protector. He's the one holding the match, standing above the empire they built in secrecy. One interview, one email, one voice note could ignite the entire narrative. And if it does, there's no coming back. Meghan and Harry have always relied on controlling the message, turning crisis into content, privacy into platform. But this time, the pen's not in their hands. Script isn't theirs to write. The power has shifted. Tyler Perry, once a quiet pillar in their circle, now holds the story. And with every day he stays quiet, the world listens harder. Social. Media's erupting. Hashtags like hashtag #LILIBET truth and hashtag Tyler knows all are trending. Users are pulling receipts, comparing statements to timelines, poking holes in every version they've heard. The outrage isn't over the control, it's over the possibility that what we believed was authenticity might have been performance. Meghan's team is reportedly in crisis mode, reaching out to friendly media, offering off-the-record insight to soften the edges. But for every flattering piece, 10 more tear at the seams, especially now that new whispers question Lilibet's birth. Why was the announcement so vague? Why no hospital record? And if Perry denies being a true godfather, what else was symbolic rather than sincere? Hollywood's watching, too. Meghan's identity as a modern philanthropist, Harry's as a mental health advocate, both rely on public trust. And when trust shatters, brands disappear, invitations dry up. Partners distance themselves. No one wants to align with a crisis that feels crafted. Legal experts are circling. If Perry holds evidence of staged narratives or monetized falsehoods, platforms like Netflix and Spotify could reassess everything. Breaches could lead to pulled content, canceled contracts, and lawsuits worth millions. This isn't just media drama. It's legal, financial, reputational warfare. But the most personal cost, it's emotional. Because the Sussex's story wasn't just about stepping down, it was about pain, about racism, about breaking generational cycles. If it was exaggerated, if parts were played for profit, doesn't just stain them, it betrays those who related. It turns empathy into doubt. Tyler Perry still hasn't spoken, but insiders say he's not sitting on files, he's curating them. Going through messages, seeking counsel, deciding whether to stay silent or light the fuse. And as Harry and Meghan try to seal every crack, Perry holds the detonator. Not a tabloid whisperer, he's a respected filmmaker. He speaks, the world will hear him. This isn't a scandal, it's a reckoning. A moment where truth meets image and only one walks away. Meghan and Harry built a kingdom on narrative. But the one rule they forgot? Receipts don't lie. And Tyler Perry has them.